All right, everyone, it's about 8 p.m. on Sunday evening. This is going to be a weather update. We haven't had one of these for a long time, so I'm excited to get into this. And of course, this weather update has a sponsor, and it is House of Insurance Agency. I really appreciate it. This is a new sponsor now of mine. I appreciate it that they've joined Novak Weather. They really believe in Novak Weather, and I think it's great. They're located in the center and Montgomery, Minnesota. They cover all of southern Minnesota. It's a personal business, personal and business and farm and life insurance, all that type of stuff is what House of Insurance takes care of. They're a trusted choice independent agency. They are contract with multiple insurance companies, so that's important. So they find you the best insurance company out there, or at least the best insurance rates out there. Again, they're an independent agency. They're family owned, southern Minnesota, probably all of Minnesota, I bet you, is who they could take care of. Experienced agents. They've been around since the 1950s. Again, it's House of Insurance Agency. One of the things that they mentioned to me is that weather plays an important, vital role in your asset protection, and that's why they follow and support Novak Weather. So again, House of Insurance Agency, I really appreciate you guys sponsoring this weather update, and it's an important one because we have a potential winter storm now that's going to be affecting the upper Midwest. And one of the first things I wanted to show you right off the bat is the GFS computer model guidance. Now we're going to be looking at two model guidances, okay? We're going to look at the GFS, which is the American Model Guidance, and we will look at the European Model Guidance. Now, one thing I'm going to tell you right now is we're still 4 to 5 days out on this winter storm, or I should say early spring storm, which means there's no reason to look at surface maps or quantitative precipitation, what we call QPF maps, because when we're this far out, it's almost impossible to tell you exactly where a surface low is going to be located, or exactly where the heaviest strip of snow or ice is going to be located. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to focus on the upper air dynamics from about 850 millibars and up. This is the GFS computer model guidance. Now, we're going through time. This is as we get into tomorrow. What this is showing you is the lower layers of our atmosphere, and it basically is going to show you where the cold air is located. Okay, here it is tonight. It's north of Minnesota. I mean, we have a little bit of cold air in Minnesota, but for the most part, it's stuck up in Canada, north of Minnesota. Here's the Twin Cities Metro, by the way, right here. So the real cold air, the purples and the magenta colors, are north in Canada, okay? Now watch what happens as we go through time. We get a warm surge of air on Wednesday and into Wednesday night to where any precipitation that falls over much of Minnesota, in fact, almost all of Minnesota, any precipitation that falls on Wednesday would be in the form of liquid. Okay, but then now watch what happens as we go through Thursday. Look at how the cold air during the day Thursday funnels south through Minnesota, in fact, through all of the upper Midwest. This is an impressive surge of cold air that's going to be coming in on the heels of this, what looks to be fairly significant storm system that's going to be pushing through on Thursday and Friday. Okay, so what this is showing you is that it looks like eventually on Thursday we are going to get rain that changes over to snow, or it could be almost just all snow. It depends on how quickly that cold air comes into play, and that's going to determine whether this is all snow or rain changing to snow or whether we get some ice. But there should be cold air available by Thursday to get wintry precipitation over the upper Midwest. Now, I told you we're going to be focusing on the upper level dynamics, okay? So this is the jet stream from the GFS computer model. Okay, and this is the jet stream for early this week. This is Tuesday now. And look how the winds are blowing out of Canada to the southeast across Minnesota and Wisconsin. This is a dry west to northwest flow. This is coming off the Rockies. The air sinks off the Rockies, it dries up, and then it moves into our region. So we're probably not going to get any precipitation as we go into Tuesday, at least tomorrow and Tuesday of this coming week. If we get anything, it would be just a spit, a flurry, or maybe some light droplets of rain. But now watch what happens as we get into Wednesday. Look, our winds already on Wednesday have shifted in the upper layers of our atmosphere. At the jet stream level, our winds are going to be blowing now from southwest to northeast on Wednesday. That's a whole different trajectory. In other words, we're going to be getting Gulf of Mexico moisture that's going to be able to come up into the upper Midwest as we get into Wednesday night, and especially Thursday. And again, here's where the Twin Cities is located, okay? So a big shift in the pattern occurs at midweek. And then watch what happens as we go into Thursday and Friday. We really crank up this storm system. Now, this is critical. In the upper layers of our atmosphere, again, this is at about 30,000 feet. We have a jet streak that's going to be surging from Texas and Oklahoma and northeast to near Chicago. Okay, and remember what we've always talked about. Usually on the nose or the left front quadrant of that jet streak is where storms like to develop. Okay, so that would put Iowa, eastern Nebraska, eastern South Dakota, and southern Minnesota in a prime location for storm development as we get into Thursday night and early Friday morning. I mean, look at this beautiful jet structure for early Friday morning. This is intense lift over southern Minnesota, northern Iowa, and Wisconsin. Okay, we've got this classic comma shape that has developed in our jet stream pattern for late Thursday into early Friday morning. There's no reason not to think that some significant winter weather is going to develop, especially from about Duluth and St. Cloud on south and east into northern Iowa, western Wisconsin. Okay, that would be, at least if this jet stream pattern from the GFS computer model guidance stays in place, that's where we would expect the significant storm to develop as we get into Thursday and then early Friday. Now, this is now the European computer model guidance. And now we're going to go just a little bit lower in our atmosphere. This is at 500 millibars, okay? We're talking at around 15 to 20,000 feet now in our atmosphere. And this is for the same time period. Now, this is Thursday evening. And what I want you to focus on is this jet streak now coming up again at 500 millibars now out of Texas and streaming northeast towards Iowa and southern Wisconsin. And usually on the nose and left front quad of that jet streak, even at 500 millibars now, that's where storms like to develop. That's where we get intense lift. So on Thursday into Friday morning, this is Friday morning now from the GFS or from the European computer model guidance, both the GFS and the European guidance is showing significant lift over southern Minnesota, northern Iowa, and Wisconsin. So we've got a consensus here, even looking at the UK Met, which is another European computer model guidance, and the Canadian guidance. All four of these major computer guidances that look into the medium and long range are all agreeing that this area of about the southern half of Minnesota, portions of northern Iowa, and much of Wisconsin will receive significant lift as we get into later Thursday and early Friday morning. That is the reason why our confidence is growing in a winter storm or early spring storm across the upper Midwest. It remains to be seen where the heaviest snow is going to fall. We're not sure yet. Of course, track of the low pressure system is going to be key, but a couple of things appear to be certain. There is going to be a storm. There will be some wintry weather across a good chunk of Minnesota, Wisconsin, and there will likely be some very sharp snow gradients that we're going to have to deal with, which is typical of March and April. But there will likely be some very tight snow gradients that we're going to be dealing with as we get into Thursday and Friday, and this would be a wet snow, so be prepared because the shoveling is and the snow removal is going to be tough because of the consistency, the wet consistency of this snow. Again, thank you, House of Insurance Agency, for becoming a sponsor of Novak Weather. I really appreciate it. Get ready for an interesting later portion of this upcoming week. Take care.